Okay. Well, as usual, things are not going to go off without a hitch. I'll have to work on that some more. I have something set up that will allow us to uh, have our stream simulcast to our Facebook page and my Twitch, but it's not working in the first attempt. So today is just YouTube. I'll keep working on that, trying to make it work right. Hey, Johnny, and Indo Oink, the Bester Haroon, Taiji Jones, Sergio, Drunken Cannon, Trevor Wolverine, Tyler, Ranger Rendell, Ocean Flame, John Marsberg. Yeah, Disney was great. I I thought that might be fun. I don't know why it wouldn't take the new settings. It wouldn't take it. Wouldn't take the new settings for this stream when I tried to hook it to Facebook and Twitch as well. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I want to. Yeah, right before we left, we had talked about all the new information coming out with the UFOs. Well, but not new information, existing information and videos that were verified by the Pentagon. And several of you guys had mentioned to me you don't necessarily believe it's from space, but from another dimension or a parallel universe. And I don't know a lot about that, but it fascinates me. So I kind of wanted to do a stream devoted just to that. I mean, you guys can always talk about anything you want, but with that as the main focus, because that's kind of fascinating to me. And as far as space exploration and the potential for there to be aliens visiting someday, I've read up on that a lot. I mean, just as a layperson, I got a decent amount of knowledge. But the whole parallel universe thing, I really don't know much about. So I like getting you guys' take on things. Jetpack Orion Jr. says, I think Goku may have multiple personality disorder because he would usually act like a man-child, but when he's in combat or something serious happening, he acts more mature. Well, yeah, and that's the only time his thought processes are strategically impressive as well. Hi, Johnny. Hi, BU. Curtis, you look great. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I don't know about looking great, but I appreciate the thought. Trying to keep this young persona or this young look that I have here. Yeah, like multiverse versus theory. Multiverse theory. I'm not as well versed on that as I might be. Lute says, I imagine you'd be really into the idea of parallel universes. There's one where you're groping Saris in real life. Well, then I ain't coming back to this fucking one, I'll tell you that. If I can make it to that parallel universe and I'm grabbing Saris titties, see ya. And I won't be returning. Shadow Reaper, hey, thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. Again, I'm a very simple person. I like those little stickers. We're getting tinfoil again. Curtis Lick says, nah, that's what. See, I can't stand up for or make a case for the potential of existence of parallel universes because, again, I just don't have. Hey, Shadow Reaper, you're stream boss too. I just don't have any base of knowledge about such things. So that's why I turn to you guys. Mr. Croissant says it's not necessarily a parallel universe, but I recently found a belief in the idea that we as human beings are just 3D beings, whereas the aliens we believe exist watch us from a higher dimension. I've heard thought processes like that before, Mr. Croissant. With things like that, with the truly limited knowledge we have, understandably so, of what is everything, what is in the entirety of the cosmos, I guess we can't really rule out anything, right? Because we don't know shit. And with all the great advances we have made over the years in learning what's out there, we're still just looking at, this tiny little dot on the big spectrum. So it's hard. It's impossible to say anything is impossible. Lord Coldcut says, if I found a parallel universe with another me, I'd kill him and take his place, but nothing would change. I just want to kill. What are you referring to, Jack? The concept that we were just talking about? He says 1978 Nobel Prize winners who first came up with it. It's fascinating stuff. I assume that's what you mean, what we were just talking about there? Yeah, all of this fascinates me. That's why I'd like to learn more about it. Oink says, I'm not too familiar with the theory, but as far as I understand it, every time something happens, there is a new universe created for every outcome of that situation. So that would be... I guess, I'm just trying to think that through. Yeah, I guess that would be the case no matter how you believe time flows, because anything that happens is going to have some sort of an impact on what's next, and that compounds, of course, and then what's next after that, and so on and so forth. So that would beg the question then, is our future somewhat predetermined and can be changed as things unfold, or is it just time is truly linear? Parallel universe. Okay, Jack. Yeah. I'm fascinated by that shit. Fascinated. Shadow Reaper says, I believe that every decision we make in our universe, we make the other decision in that one. Ooh, that's interesting. So if that were the case, what Shadow Reaper's saying, then the other dimensions or parallel universes would just be mirrors, perfect mirrors. So the same shit's happening there that's happening here, just facing the other direction. And for instance, every situation, no matter how small, has multiple endings. Yeah, that would be true, Dal. Or like you say, everything would have an effect. Mr. Croissant says, but then again, things like deja vu happen all the time. Yeah, I wonder too, though. I think deja vu, I don't know, do we put, as humans, do we put more into the concept of deja vu than is really there, and it's not just the activity of our subconscious, basically, that sometimes deja vu is a triggering of something that is indeed similar, similar to something you've seen before, and other times your mind just basically playing tricks on you and believing that it was something more than it really is. Jack says, evidence of them in the form of radiation from the cosmic microwave background is what was directed by Penzias and Wilson, and it helped establish the Big Bang theory of cosmology. Interesting. Big Green says there's a parallel universe out there where we've already beaten the coronavirus. I wonder if there's a parallel universe out there where we're able to avoid that fucker. Maybe there's a parallel universe where the rest of the world was smart enough to tell the Chinese, hey, cut that stupid shit out, you morons. Downlord says, I think that's the problem with time travel. Go back in time, and you're suddenly not in the past, but a divergent reality that's separated from the previous as soon as you time traveled. Yeah, that's why they say, I mean, with my limited reading of it and everything, while going into the future is a possibility, a human going into the past is extremely unlikely. That's what again, that's just what I've read. I wish I had more of the science to back it up, but basically what they're saying is I guess you can travel at such a speed that time would slow down for you. So if you did that for an extended period of time and then slowed down, returned to where you were, you would have traveled forward in time. Ravenwolf says, in instances of lucid dreaming, are you the god of your own universe? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I that's just a function of our brain, of our subconscious mind, but yeah, kind of. Leona says there are many creatures God created. I'm not sure what you're talking about, though, how it relates to all of this. Mr. Croissant says, but one thing I know for sure is that possibly being alone in the universe and possibly not being alone in the universe are both equally scary things to think about. I agree. I think both, yeah, absolutely. You said it well. I think both would be equally disturbing. Yeah, without question. Like we're the only ones who exist in all of this, which I think is highly unlikely. And knowing for a fact that we are not the only ones who exist would also be like, well, this is a little unsettling. Slick Goku says, just to let you know, if you meet your past self and you from the future look at each other, a time paradox happens to erase both the past future from you from existence. Yeah, I know. We've seen a lot of that, in works of fiction and stuff like that. I just don't know how. There's just that hiccup of, wouldn't we have to assume right now? Okay, now this is where things get even extra twisted. If nobody from the future has shown up here to us now, by now, doesn't that mean there is no point where we've evolved far enough to travel back in time? So, does that mean it just never happens? Who knows? The giant asteroid could be on its way tomorrow, and we never got a chance to do it. Only says deja vu has to do with how the brain registers information. I think it's very unlikely it has anything to do with parallel universes. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's a function of the subconscious. Jesper says maybe something like Steins Gate with different world lines. Is that like the parallel universes you're talking about? Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love Steins Gate so much, Jesper, because again, I don't have a lot of knowledge about the theories surrounding these things, but I like the way Steins Gate presented it. Yeah, that was really cool. Just the potential that they brought up was fascinating in that show. Spaz Gio says going to start rewatching DBZ after this. So excited! I know. I wish I had time to do all the rewatching I would love to do. There's so many anime on my list now. Downward says, so if time moves slower, the faster you move, then anyone traveling at or near light speed will exist in a slower field of time than everyone else. Spaceship crews become time travelers. Right. I get that one, Downward. So that's what I mean. I don't get it. I read it. So that's how we could travel into the future. But they're saying that, I'm trying to remember exactly what I read, but that not only is it extremely unlikely we could ever travel into the past, but even if that, of what they know now, from what they're explaining, if we could travel into the past, a human-sized object couldn't do it. It would have to be something, on a molecular level. Let's see. Excuse me. Wildfire says, what would you do if you found a you but was the opposite gender? Please, no dirty stuff. I don't know. What would you do if you found out in your parallel universe you were the opposite gender? I wouldn't date me. I know that. Ew. Mr. Croissant said, I've heard the ability to travel back in time is impossible, whereas future travel is possible. That's what I've heard too. I could be wrong though. If life outside our planet exists, just let them be as thick as Vados. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing I've read, Mr. Croissant. Is that into the future, and some of the other gang here just explain why. You can go fast enough that you could travel into the future, but I guess they said the only way to potentially go into the past would be wormholes. Excuse me, what they know of the science involved in such things, a human would never be able to navigate through a wormhole. That's what I read anyway. Jacqueline says, I would immediately bone me and not call me back. Ramona says humans never going to be able to travel into the past. Life just keeps going, and it has. And time travel is human imagination, nothing else. Prophecy books don't explain nothing about time travel. Now wait a second. So on one hand, fuck off, train. On one hand, you're trying to tell me that humans can't travel into the past or the future. Time travel is just fiction, and you're basing that on the facts that there were no prophecy books written about it. I don't think that's a real solid basis for making a conclusion, because a prophecy book never never outlined the path. I think science has outlined pretty well how you could travel into the future. It's just traveling into the past that creates quite a snafu, like, dying while you're trying to do it. Lick says, is man me as ugly as woman me? I'd still hit it, but are they? Lord Coldcut says, I don't listen to old books because they can't talk and they're dusty. Dusty. Tyler, did he? I don't know. Says, didn't Einstein prove that time slows down as you speed up by putting an alarm clock on a jet around the Earth? I don't know. I don't know if something like that was done or not. But from what I've read, science feels confident in that fact that time does slow down as you speed up, and that's how we could get into the future. But again, no way into the past. Okay. Whoa, LOL says, and wormholes have been better understood to not allow time travel if it does the theories wrong automatically, as well as wormholes themselves falling out of favor with physicists recently. Oh, have they? So the whole concept of wormholes is just something that they're kind of pushing off to the side, yeah? Yeah, pretty much, Big Green. Time travel is just fantasy. This fantasy book didn't mention it anywhere. Yeah, that one was a little confusing to me. Das Brot says, because Marty changed the past, he will never meet the real Doc, his parents, and Jennifer ever again. Yeah, goddamn, Back to the Future has got us all messed up with how all this stuff might happen. I mean, it was so cool when all we were going to need was a DeLorean, and then turns out they were lying. Hi, Chrome. Jack Queen says, basically, to go in the past, you wouldn't just need speed, but gravity, equal to that of a black hole, to physically bend time and space. That sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's everything I read. It's I say this with the disappointment clearly evident in my voice. It's so disappointing when you read about how the scientists say, yeah, going back in time, no. God damn it. Edgar says, parallel universe. Curtis is skinny. Hates, never gets the booty, has a miserable office job, and takes a stinky bus to work. Sorry, parallel Curtis. Oh, if that's the case, Ed, and I run into him, I'm going to kill him and do him a favor. I'm just going to lop off his head. And as he sees the axe coming, he'll be like, thank you. Marcus says, I can travel through parallel universe. I lucid dream. Well, in a sense, it's kind of true. I mean, it's a parallel universe that exists only for you, because it's a product of your subconscious mind, but kind of. Rick says, what, you telling me I can't just do it? I got to break space in half or whatever if I want to bang my young mom? So it's red tape for everything, Lex. Nothing's ever easy. There's always got to be hoops to jump through. Big Green says, parallel Curtis hates anime and Notre Dame. Then he's definitely getting his head lopped off. Lute says, the main reason aliens existing is scary is because we only imagine them in comparison to us, how explorers treated native populations. True. I don't think the same principles of logic and morality apply. Yeah, that's the thing, Lute. If we're over into the concept of aliens possibly existing, we can't put, it wouldn't even make any sense to put anything or attach anything we know to them or their limitations. Because if they exist, and certainly if they exist and have developed the means to reach us, all bets are off. Who knows? Oof, who knows what they're able to do? Never gonna happen. Time traveler, time machine. We actually traveled the future, but not beyond our limits. Well, thank you for that scientific-based rationale, Leona. I mean, we're kind of talking about the possibility of things and why or why not. If we're just going to make general blanket statements, then I would like to state that in my future, I am going to be the man who discovers the true fountain of youth. I use it on myself, and I'm good looking, young, and rich in the year 2023. Thank you very much. Lord Colcott says, I think we can time travel with magic. We just need 3 blood sacrifices and 5 virgins to summon the god of space. Where the hell are we going to find 5 virgins, Lord Coldcuts? That's another deal breaker. Yeah, well, you're not wrong there. Lick says, technically, we're always time traveling. I'm going forward in time right now. I hate it. Make it stop. I'm with you. Chrome says, no. We all know Parallel Curtis is an Alabama soccer player who loves live action shows and hates animation. Yeah. And Chrome, don't forget, and loves me some mayonnaise and American cheese. At a Magic the Gathering tournament, Philip says. Chrome says, today's weather's been nice, so I went out to town for a bite to eat and to buy some manga. I'm now 33 volumes into Skip Beat and just got more D Gray Man and started Inspector. Chrome, you got an impressive manga resume. Ravenwolf says, SJWs, they're all virgins trying to impress women with their wokeness. Marcus says, I never want to live in a parallel universe where the internet didn't exist. It must be a shitty yet productive universe. So true. I'll stay there for only 10 minutes and leave if I can travel. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of nerded out for this whole internet thing too. Yeah, I want to be connected no matter which universe I'm thrust into. Let's see. Zack's Knight. I will 11th dimensional travel to an anime universe. That'd be awesome. Mr. Croissant says, if we travel back in time, will we be physically affected by time travel or just consciously? Like if I go back to being 3, will I be 3 with a 19-year-old mindset, or will I see my 3-year-old self as a 19-year-old? That's interesting. Well, and if right, so what Mr. Croissant's saying is, but then the big question, Mr. Croissant, would be if you time traveled back, but didn't do it physically, just as a workings of your consciousness, did you actually time travel, or are you just remembering? You know, is that actual time travel or not? I don't know. Lick says, Parallel Curtis hates cartoons. The only animated products he'll watch are made by this company called 4Kids, who are the magnum opus of the animation industry. That's a universe that would just need to be destroyed, blown up. If 4Kids is held in high esteem, high regards in any universe, there's no reason for that universe to exist. I want to play I don't know who asked Big Green, but I want to play that new Resident Evil. I saw Spaz Kid playing it a little, and I'm like, God damn. Because now that I'm back from Disney, I wanted to get some more, I want to get back to my Minecraft quest, since I managed to fuck up my last one trying to get to the Ender Dragon. But damn, I might put that off for a little just to try out that new Resident Evil. That looks really fun. Really does. I only watched a little bit of it because I didn't want to spoil too much. But Spaz could play in it. That looks like a blast. And then Edgar says, imagine we were visited by aliens thousands of years ago, and our evolution was sped up by DNA mutation and their knowledge. That's why pyramids were possible to build in those times, because of aliens. That's true. Again, I think the majority of us, anyway, in past streams, we found that the majority of us agree that it would be arrogant to believe that we are the only forms of life in the cosmos. And if we're willing to acquiesce that, then who's to say that even if they are not currently, that other alien forms of life haven't visited here in the past? You know, we could have been a piss break for somebody tens of thousands of years ago. Jack Queen says aliens spunked on our planets. Yeah, pretty much. Downward says perhaps there's a prime timeline and many branch lines that result from every event with multiple outcomes, and so trying to travel along prime automatically lands you in a branch. Yeah, I don't see why not. Unless time is actually the linear thing we think it is, and it's just evolving moment by moment. I don't know. Buena, about parallel world. I don't know about aliens. In Muslim books I saw it says there are many creatures humans never going to know about. Aliens are real, but we're never going to see them. Well, again, that's a blanket statement. Well, aliens are real, but we're never going to see them. If they're real, how would you know we're never going to see them? You know, your one train of logic doesn't back up the other. If you're saying that you believe aliens are real, or you're saying aliens are real because you believe they've been here before, how would that come to the conclusion that we're never going to see them? They goosed in our waters and deemed it good, Jack says. Chrome, I do have like 500 plus manga volumes at this point. Wow. Last few years have been really good for getting classic series. Urusei Yatsura is getting a full English print after 30 plus years plus Toriyama's work. Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, Chrome, you don't trip Chrome up too much on anything to do with manga. Pretty freaking knowledgeable. Let's see. Wildfire says, but it's a fun topic. I will say these things are why I live, half the reason anyway. But yeah, like what if questions. So I was super excited for Marvel's What If series. Yeah, I'm with you. I love those what ifs. You know, especially when it's something along these lines, particularly with space travel or aliens coming here. Particularly when it's something like that where there's no way to say that it's an impossibility. It's certainly a possibility. Hydro says the whole pandemic was planned out so they can transport aliens out of Area 51 to a different location, and they transport them all with masks, and so it wouldn't look suspicious. Mr. Croissant says, like, I don't know if anybody watches Tokyo Revengers, but the main character can travel to the past and the future consciously, but he returns to his physical body for each respective timeline. So that's interesting. Now, if his conscious, not his physical body, but if your conscious alone can travel to your future self, then that would have to be time travel. Whereas if it can travel to your past self, it could just be memories, unless your consciousness can have an effect on the thoughts and actions of that past self. And if so, then you've got the whole potential butterfly effect thing working. I don't know. It's fun to talk about, though. Ancient Egypt are the progenitors of Naughty Dog, Chrome says. Woe says, I think the aliens are here, to be honest, in our reserve breaking the law, while some are researchers, catalogers. Puyo says, well, the only ET or aliens you guys like to say is bacteria. That's about it. Well, that's the only aliens that we know of that we've been able to actually determine on our own. We're talking, the potential for life well beyond the little part of the cosmos that we have any working knowledge of. Spegil says, what if aliens didn't have enough room in their spaceship and stopped here for like 2 minutes to choke the chicken? I'd be comfortable with that, Spegil. If we're just like a jerk spot along the highway of the cosmos, it'd be kind of like how you'll have those rest areas off of, at least here in New York, you have the rest areas off the state roads. The state routes, they'll just be a little pull off for you to catch a snooze or whatever you have to if you've been driving a long time. And a lot of times those always become hookup points. Be kind of like that. Pickle parks, they call them. No one says parallel universe. Ancient Egyptians really did invent children's card games, and that's how civil political disputes were solved. All I needed more proof that a parallel universe would be, as if I needed more proof that a parallel universe would be superior. Yeah, children's card games. Deciding everything. That'd be quality. I'm with that. Even though I would suck at children's card games, so I would be getting the short end of the stick going forward, but fuck it. Mr. Croissant says, if I ever gain the ability to travel back in time, I'm going to relive my life with the mindset of Life 2, Electric Boogaloo. Lord Coldcut says, I had a weird dream that aliens built a gas station on the moon, and the crazy people down here made a new religion out of it. Shaking my head. That wouldn't surprise me as the outcome to that, Lord Goldguts. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Chrome says, no, stop with the aliens made the pyramids thing. Never underestimate the power of slavery and people not caring about workers. Well, yeah, because I guess engineers, if I'm not mistaken, engineers have mapped out a method that would have been available to the people of that time. And like Chrome says, when you got enough forced labor to carry it out, because by all accounts, they say when those pyramids were killed, the construction of the pyramids probably killed just untold numbers of people working on them. You can make anything happen. Philip says, a Pharaon war fleet stopped off on Earth after they destroyed the Martians. Sailors on leave, one thing led to another. Pharaon DNA in every human being. The premise of destroy all humans. I like that, Philip. Was stopped off Earth after they destroyed the Martians. Sailors on leave. Hey, sailors on leave, you do what you got to do. If you're going to, if along the way you breed an entire species, good for you then. Code says, love manga, but I only have like 6 volumes. Naruto, Dragon Ball, OPM, Food Wars, Hunter x Hunter, and Beyblade. All of them are volume 1. I like to support digital manga because I think it's the future. Yeah, like I say, Chrome has got a real extensive knowledge of manga. Jack Queen. In the words of Louis C.K., you can do anything when you don't care about people. Look at your cell phones. Then he jacked off on a lady. Yeah, pretty much. Wendy's, how about order a burger with thick buns? Tyler says, didn't most of the people that worked on the pyramids get buried by the pyramids and are thought not slaves but skilled workers? Could be, Tyler. I don't know. I know I've read that the engineers that so long ago I read that article, but this group of engineers that showed how the pyramids could have been built in the time, said that there had to be just insane numbers of casualties in building them, just because of the lack of equipment they had at that time. So I don't know if they were slaves or skilled workers. I don't know. Probably, I would think it had to cost the lives of significant numbers of both. You would think. Downward says, anyone else wonder where thoughts come from? Where are they before you think of them? What are they before their thoughts? Are they really yours? So it's like, basically downward, like, where does consciousness come from? I don't know. I know where unconsciousness comes from, metal folding chairs. That I have researched diligently. But where does our consciousness actually come from? I don't know. And how is our consciousness really as impressive as we think it is, or is it just impressive to us because it's all we know anyway? You know, are there other species that have a whole different level of consciousness who understand, maybe instinctively or natively, the very nature of things and of how everything came to be? I don't know. Dalwart says I'm pretty high right now, to be fair. Well, he says actually it was the Egyptians that came from space and taught the aliens how to stack rocks on top of each other. That's pretty good. I don't know. There are so many thoughts like that are just fun to just consider and can keep you awake at night thinking about them. I'm curious, though, too, not to change the subject, since it did come up. How many would you guys be interested in? I don't even know if I would continue with it, but watching me try out that new Resident Evil, because now Spaz Kids got me really thinking seriously about looking into that. That looked cool. Philip says, honestly, it's more amazing when people don't abuse workers or use slave labor. I mean, the fucking British didn't build a railroad through Burma because of the sheer cost of human life. Yeah, you're right. When we go back in time, yeah, that's unfortunate but true. Yes, do it, sure. Okay. I'll probably will at some point. Again, I'm not going to promise how far we'll go with it, but just having watched him play a little bit of it, it's like, I need to look at that. Not your cup of tea, Philip? No? It just looked real. You know, I played some of those games anyway, and they're good games. But I didn't have a huge interest in it. And then Brax, I think he was streaming it. I was just watching over his shoulder a little bit, and it's like, that looks like it might be fun. Big Woman. Yeah, I keep hearing all about Big Woman licks. Yeah. And, you know, Big Woman. Okay, I'm on board here. Oh, really? Mr. Croissant says, I'd love to watch you play Resident Evil. There's a part that's known for glitching really bad. One of my favorite gamers' dads had trouble. Jack says, spoiler, I spike Phil's tea with cocaine every morning, so don't drink his tea. Some tig old biddies. That's what we like, Lord Goldcuts. That's what we like. Raven Wolf says, yes, RE8 is great. Big Woman equals big milkers. Yeah, I haven't seen Big Woman. I've heard much discussion about her, but the little bit of the game I watched did look like it was a lot of fun. Oink says Mega Milkies. Well, unfortunately, guys, I apologize for having to do such a short stream, but we've had right over Spaz Kids Room, we've had a leak in the roof. And I got up there and I've been trying to repair it, fix it, seal it off. I can't find it. And then right before I was about to come up and stream, my wife got a call from somebody she had contacted about doing it. Said, oh, I got cancellation today. I can come over. And so I got to go get set up for him to get here. I got to bring the ladder up from the cellar, get the cars out of the way so we can get up to the side of the house and hopefully stop the water from dripping in on Spaz Kids Room. But I didn't want to not do this because I wanted to really talk about this one. So we'll coming up now with streams, we will be doing a joke stream again because I've been dying to do one of those. We will be doing a video clip stream because I love doing those. And I'll probably at some point pick up that Resident Evil 8 and at least take a look at it. We can all look at it together and see what you guys think of it. This damn cancel culture. I hate big woman as a fellow tall girl, Lick says. I get wildly jealous when I meet a girl taller than me. But yeah, I got it's a pain in the ass, Chrome. But hopefully this guy can find it, because I can find the leak. I tried sealing it with all different products and everything, and that's the problem with any time you're tracking any type of leak like that, is water will just travel to the path of least resistance. So, you know, you got the leak here, but the source might be way the hell over here and up there or down there, and it's traveling. So hopefully this guy can find it. Usually wet is a good thing. I know, Dowlord. This is one of those cases where, no, yeah. But guys, thank you. Thanks for this conversation. This was a lot of fun. I knew this was going to be a good time talking about this. And we'll have plenty more live chat streams, but we do have those others coming up. We're going to be doing jokes. We're going to be doing the video clip streams, and we will play a little bit of Resident Evil. And any of you who are into that, please pop in for those, because I'm quite certain, as I always do with games, I'm going to need all the help I can get. It's Monday, but it's a holiday. So even though sticky stuff on Monday, we all know it's just whatever. Holiday sticky stuff is still pretty cool. So you put it in, you know, you basically don't have the mundane Monday sticky stuff. I would put this at between a Wednesday and Thursday. So enjoy this while you can. It's not often that you get sticky stuff on a Monday that really rates a Wednesday to Thursday rating. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. But here it goes. Bumpu, bumpu, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. Oh, and it all came from this universe too. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashly like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, and in every universe, without exception, goose, 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 goose. Goose.